Hello, everybody. I'm Donna Norris. I'm a soul level intuitive, animal communicator at the soul level as well, psychic and medium. And today we're doing another episode of what I call Awakened Journey. These are many of the people that I've met in my time as a metaphysical practitioner and a healer and exploring all the different modalities that I've dabbled in over the years. And so I wanted to introduce you to some of them so that you can kind of see how much is really out there that a person could get interested in and to hear some of the backstories because I have met some of the most fascinating people. And today's guest is by far one of my favorites. This is Suzette Thompson. She is a vibrational sound therapy practitioner. She is a Reiki master. She has other certifications, which I'll let her tell you about, but those are the top two that she's working in right now. And without further ado, I would like you to hear more about Suzette's awakening journey. I'll turn it over to you, Suzette.
Hi, thank you, Donna, for inviting me on your interview.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
started noticing that I had awareness of spirits or other life when I was 18. I was out with some friends and I drove up to a train track and I felt very, very scared. I had a lot of fear. I had a lot of shock and I couldn't figure out why I was feeling that way. And the train was going slowly and I was the first one there and there was cars behind me and I just decided to leave. And I took off and I drove as fast as I could. And my friend said, "What's wrong?" And I said, "I'm afraid. I don't know what's back there, but I felt so much fear." And I drove like literally the devil was behind my back. It scared me so bad. And my
Wow.
friends could not figure out what in the world frightened you
Right.
so badly. The next day, my friend, whose family, you know, have a lot of police officers in their family, and one of them had a dispatch radio and they said there was an accident. There were three boys, 9 years old, that had snuck out of the house, and there was another car driving at a very fast speed, and he struck and killed a 9-year-old boy. And that had happened a couple of hours before I got there. So that little boy's spirit was there. And my friend said, "I cannot believe you picked up that." She goes, "You're kind of strange." And I said, "Well, I just felt it, but it made them a little wary about it. And so I kind of suppressed it when I was very young because I didn't want my friends to feel uncomfortable around me.
Yeah.
Um, and so I never really thought about that incident until, later, um, after I got married. And I remember Charlie and I were restorating a house, and I picked up on another spirit, and I was probably in my mid 40s. And I really felt so much warmth around me, and I just wanted to just be in the presence of this spirit. And I just sat kind of like in my own little world. And Charlie comes in, he says, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I'm talking to the owner of this home that we're restorating." He said, "What?" And I said, "Yes, I feel her spirit. She's very excited and happy that we're fixing her place up again."
Oh,
And
nice.
he, just kind of accepted it, but he didn't make a big deal about it, which I was really glad. So I didn't think anything of it. I just had encountered it, and then I just tucked it away again. And then Charlie got ill, and I ended up working with aromatherapy. And as I started working with aromatherapy, I started checking into the properties, the metaphysical properties it brings to you, because it was fascinating to me, not only the physical properties and healing properties it could bring to you, but also the other properties, how it made you feel. And
Right.
I started getting really interested in the aromatherapy, and it just kept spreading. Then my daughter encountered a ghost or a spirit in her house that kept moving her picture. And she told me, she says, Mom, I'm sure I have a spirit in my house and we need to get rid of it. And she said, I said, let me research. And she mentioned sage. And I said, I'm going to find some sage around here. So I ended up finding out that the witchery in Galveston had sage. And Charlie was, still alive then and present. And I said, Charlie, we got to go get some sage and get rid of a ghost. Again, he was so accepting of me on my journey. He didn't quite know what to make of it, but he accepted it. And it just kept on going. And I bought the sage. I bought the book that tells you how to sage and cleanse a home. It was very interesting. And they celebrate holidays. They tell you you should cleanse your home before you move out with the next people, clear out all that energy. When you move into a new home, you should cleanse the energy, get rid of any residual. You could even do it after a fight, after an argument, with your sister, your brother, your
Yep.
spouse, your partner. Sage is really nice for clearing it out. And it is a tradition of the Native American Indian. So they really knew how to keep their space cleansed. And I started just reading more and more on it. And then it spread like wildfire again. Shanna said, my mom saged my house, and then a friend wanted her house saged, and then a business wanted their business saged. And it just kept going on and on to where I ended up doing a tax corporation, big, huge one, and then also a police station. And I've
Oh
encountered
yeah, the
very
jailhouse one.
interesting, the jailhouse
Yeah.
one. Yes, I
Yeah.
encountered some very interesting energy and lights flickering, and just it's been a journey.
Yeah. Yeah.
Eventually, I started to get tired from all of the saging because everybody wanted their home saged or their business saged. And I started pulling
Yeah.
back and started going more towards the healing part. Charlie ended up passing away in September of 2013, and a friend of mine said, you need to go and try yoga. So I ended up going to Yoga Lola Studio at the time. Now it's the Health Hut, and it's getting ready to move. But I
Yeah.
took a tour of the yoga studio, and I saw this little room, and it had a massage table there. And I said, oh, what's this? You do massages? And Lola wasn't there. There was another lady giving me the tour. And she said, it's Reiki. And I said, Reiki? Well, I've never heard of that. I said, well, I'm going to book me some Reiki. Not knowing what Reiki was, didn't even look it up. I just wasn't sure. And the first time I got the Reiki healing, I cried through the whole thing. I had had all my grief locked up inside me, and it was hurting so bad. And I felt so much better after I had the Reiki healing. And I went and had my Reiki healing for a year. And then Lola started offering services as far as classes. And that's how I got involved into the Reiki healing. At the same time, I started going to the yoga classes, and they brought out a gong. And the first time I heard the gong, I was enchanted. It just brought up so many wonderful feelings and release and relaxation. And then I would go home and I would just sleep so well. And I said, there's something to sound healing. And so every time I got a chance, I wanted to hear some kind of sound healing. And I was at a gem and jewelry show one year, and I saw all these Himalayan bowls. And I went straight to this bowl And I picked it up and I just felt it. And I said, I like this bowl. I chimed it and I said, this is a nice bowl. And I looked at all the others and then I came back to that same bowl.
Mhm.
And the gentleman that was
They
selling
call
it,
to you, don't they? They just call to you.
they call to you. And he put the bowl on my head and he started chiming it. And I put my hands out and he says, oh, you're a Reiki healer. And I said, yes, I am. How did you know? He said, I can feel your energy. And he was chiming it on my head. And he said, this is your bowl. And I said, you're right, it is. And so I purchased this bowl. And then Shannon, a friend of mine that I'd met in the yoga studio, started buying gongs and bowls. And she'd say, Suzette, do you want to join me with my healing sessions? And I said, absolutely. Well, then she said, hey, I found this class. It's called Vibrational Sound Association, and we can become certified sound healers. So I was excited. I signed up and everything. And then Shannon said, sorry, can't go. You're on your own. So I attended the sound healing session and classes for 6 days, and I got certified. It's called the measured strike technique. And you take and place the bowls on the person's body. Well, I fell in love with it. It just relaxed me. And when you're a sound healer and you're giving the sound healing to the person that's laying on the table, you're also getting this healing at the same time, which is just amazing. You're really connecting with that person's healing as well as your own healing. And it's just such a wonderful experience. One of the things about sound healing is we all get really busy in our lives and we have a hard time making those thoughts settle down, and they just run around in our head like a circle. When you get sound healing, it literally puts you in a trance. You start to relax. Your blood pressure starts to lower. Your heart beat
It
starts to
does.
lower. It's really an amazing experience in the fact that you're relaxing and being still, and lots of relaxation helps your body heal. Your immune system's at its best when it's most relaxed.
It's really
And
incredible how the whole world just seems to melt and fall away. It's
it
just you,
does.
the sound and the wah 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 and the vibration of the sound. It's like,
And you've had the sound healing with me. So
yes,
you've
I have,
experienced
and I
it.
can
Yeah.
tell you from personal experience, it's amazing. You feel like a wet noodle, literally at the end. I mean, it took me a while to for the rubber to get out of my legs so that I could walk
It
again.
does. Yes.
But I
You,
felt so much better. Oh my God, it's like a full body reset. It was
well, your
awesome.
body is made of, you know,
Water.
water. Majority of your body is made of water. And so imagine placing a sound healing bowl that's made perfectly, and you put some water in it, and you do a nice gentle chime to it. You look inside that bowl, and you've got a perfect mandala.
Oh,
That's what it's
wow.
doing to your body. It's perfect sound waves going around and around, and it's like a pebble in a pond. It's just coming out and relaxing you. One of the things I notice is that men and women are very different when it comes to sound healing. I can put the bowls on a man and he will be snoring in 3 to 5 minutes. I put the bowls on women and it takes them about 15 to 20 minutes before they're relaxed enough before I can hear that they're sleeping. A man actually explained that to me. He said, well, we're different. We put everything in compartments. When we're fishing, we're fishing. When we're working, we're working. When we come and lay down on the sound healing table, that's where we're at. Women, we throw everything in the one box, one compartment, and it's just running around in our head. And I was really kind of excited to hear him say that because I was always wondering why it took women longer to relax. We
That
tend
makes
to think,
sense.
yeah, it makes sense, doesn't it? It's hard to quiet the mind, but that's what sound healing does.
A little hard to swallow, but it's plausible. I can see the reasoning behind it. Yeah, we do tend to with the gears never stop turning with us. So we
Right.
we're always spinning so many plates. But
And so
anyway,
I had a lot going on, a lot of growth going on between 2011 through 2018. So in between those years, I was also doing aromatherapy and I was hurting my back, my neck, and I was
right.
also going through perimenopause. And so I went to this chiropractor's office and he had all these books laying around. And I said, essential oils. What's this? Started reading it. And it told you how to get rid of hot flashes. And there was this blend in there. And I said, I'm going to try this. And then I ordered the book and I started working with just a few essential oils. And 5 to 6 months later, I no longer had the hot flashes or the night sweats.
Wow.
I haven't had them since. And I said,
Wow.
there's something to this aromatherapy. And at the time, my late husband was going through chemotherapy and he had what you call CIPN, which is chemo induced peripheral neuropathy. And I said, if it can take care of my hot flashes and my, night sweats, it can take care of his feet. His feet were always very uncomfortable from the peripheral neuropathy. So I started researching and I put some blends together and I started massaging his feet in the morning and in the evening. He got off of gabapentin, he got off of hydrocodone, and his feet no longer bothered him. And he said, it's like magic. And so, I wanted to make sure that the doctor thought it was okay. And he says, whatever you're doing, keep doing. He says, we're not averse to you using holistic healing. Just let us know. And it really brought him great comfort. And to this day, whenever I hear somebody's going through a particular neuropathy, because there's also diabetic neuropathy, there's pinched nerves, in the spine that can cause neuropathy, I give them the recipe. And a lot of times I'll offer to make it for them because aromatherapy helps. It's very subtle, it takes a while, but once it starts working, it really brings a lot of comfort to people. It doesn't solve the problem, but it brings a lot of comfort. And it did bring a lot of comfort to Charlie. Before he passed, he shared with me through a psychic. He couldn't speak anymore, but she came and held his hand in my hand. And she was speaking, and he said, please don't give up your essential oils. Continue on with your education in them. So I went and got certified and took in a IAI, and it was a course that I took 320 hours, and I got certified to practice aromatherapy safely.
Yeah.
So my motto is do no harm. You should learn as much as you can about the holistic healing and work with clients or patients that are going through some difficult times by adding that holistic as a complement to what they're getting from the medical field. And I think when you bring those two together, it makes it so much easier for them. I've been called to do sound healing concerts with the Rose. It's a nonprofit organization that works with women at getting free mammograms and
Yeah.
taking care of their breast health. And I played before 300 people on a stage. And I was so nervous when I
What was
got in
that
front
like?
of them. And it's like once I sat down at the bowls, it's like everything fell away. And then after, it was all over, I had a couple of physicians come up to me and they said, that was really nice. It's the first time I've ever experienced it, and I felt like I was in a trance. It was so
Wow.
relaxing. So getting all that positive feedback is wonderful.
Especially
I,
from someone in the medical community, that's
yes,
not
yeah,
easy to do.
no, and that they're more open to it now. And
Mm.
I'm hoping that they're going to come in and enjoy it as much as, the people, that are into the holistic health. And I do know that there are some physicians that have been interested in coming in for appointments. I'm still waiting, and I hope I get a physician in. Uh, so
I'm sure you
that's been
will.
my journey. So how I met Donna, how I met you.
Yeah.
I
Somewhere in all that we met. Yeah.
after Charlie had passed, it was right a couple of weeks after he passed in September, or no, uh, I can't remember. It was after he had passed, and Shanna, my daughter, wanted me to go to Galveston with her. And we went to the witchery, and I said, "You've got to see this place. This is where I got your sage." And we saw that there was a lady that was reading tarot, and I said, "Let's get her tarot read." And she said, "Okay." And I remember I told her to go first, and she came out with the funniest look on her face. I was like, "How was your reading?" She says, "I'll talk to you in a little bit." So then I went. I cried
Hmm.
through the whole thing, but Sharon told me about the Psychic 101 classes. And she said, "You should come to these classes." And she says, "I think it would do you some good." And she could see I was still in the middle of my grief. And so I didn't make it to the first class. I did make it to the second, and that's when I met you.
Yeah.
You actually witnessed what happened
Charlie
when he made it to the first class.
made it.
And one of the ladies started talking about, clairaudience. And she says, "There's somebody talking in my ear, Charlie, Chuck, Charles, he will not shut up." And I remember looking at her and saying, "Oh my gosh, that's my late husband's name." And then Sharon had her fiance Jared there, and he started talking to me. He just came straight up to me and he said, "I have Charlie here and I have a message for you." And I said, "I don't know what the message is, you know." He said, "A promise." That's what he said. He said, "I have a message for you." He made a promise, and he said, "What's the promise?" And I said, "I don't know what it is." And he says, "Well, he's trying to show me. He can't tell me, but he's trying to show me." And he said, "I have a visualization." He said, "Both of you are sitting on the bed holding each other and you're crying. And he wants you to know that he's going to keep that promise." And I'm thinking, what promise? And then I remembered a month before he passed, he woke me up and he wanted me to make a list. And he said, "Suzette, I'm going to die, but I promise you, I will come back and watch over you." That was amazing. That is when I said, "There's a spirit world out there." And I had had so many different encounters. I was still struggling. Is it there a spirit world? Is there not? Am I imagining it? Jared didn't know me. He didn't know about a promise. He didn't know we were sitting and holding each other on a chair, I mean, on a bed crying. That's what was amazing.
Yeah.
And I started
For
to
y'all, for
believe.
those of y'all who don't know, Jared is the fiance of our first mentor, Sharon Michelle, and that's who Sharon is in the story. So she's taught us a lot in fields of psychic development and tarot. And I'm sorry to interrupt. I
That's
want to
okay.
make sure the viewers
No,
understand who Jared is because he's like a natural medium himself.
yes, he's a natural medium. And that
Just
is how
gets
I
people
met
through.
Donna. I remember you reached out and you touched my shoulder and I was crying. And I remember, being so touched to be around so many loving people that were here in Psychic 101 class, and that I was making this journey with them. And I was in such a tough place, but just going through the class with you and Sharon and the twins, there's Sheila,
Yes.
Diana, Carla. I met all these lovely ladies, and we still are in touch with each other. And we've all taken the many gifts that we've learned. We did medium ship 101, we did tarot 1, 2, and 3. I think it was beginning and intermediate and then advanced.
Right, we did.
And
We did. We did psychometry with her.
yes,
We did hands-on healing. It was
mhm,
not exactly Reiki, but it was like a pulling energy from people, pulling negative
yes,
energy from people. I forget
yes,
what she called it, but it had a name. That process had a name. But yeah,
mhm,
we had our 10-year reunion of we called ourselves
yes.
the Brujas, or somebody started calling us that, and then we
The
started calling
Brujas,
ourselves
yes.
the Brujas. Yeah,
Yeah,
last year we had a reunion to honor her for all the lasting friendships and the wonderful things that
right.
have happened to so many of us, Susan and Lisa, and I mean,
Yes.
several people
Yes,
have become
Susan, Lisa.
professionals in
That's
the
right.
time
I met
since.
Lisa. Yes.
Yeah,
And Lisa, I remember she looked at me when she first met me and she said, I know you, but you don't look the same. And I was like, we must have known each other. And Lisa and I are sure we knew each other in previous life somewhere. Um, but I just will never forget that. She says, I know you, but you look different. And it makes you think about what's really out there and different. We did the past life regressions, remember,
yes.
with Sharon, and so during that time between 2011 and 2018, I was really expanding in a lot of different areas. But then I came back to the one that really calls to my heart and is my passion, and that is sound healing. I don't cannot get enough of the sound healing. I've even taken sound healing on the road. I've done impromptu sound concerts, and I continue when people, say, "What are you doing? You're traveling?" And I said, "Yes, and I'm traveling with my equipment. I'm a sound healer." And I start talking to them. The next thing you know, I'm doing a sound healing concert. And I'm just going to keep doing that, reaching out to as many people as I can out there on Facebook, introducing my instruments and playing them and bringing everybody to that wonderful, peaceful place that we all deserve to be at least for an hour in our life, as often as we can work it in to our busy life. And that is my passion, along with Reiki and aromatherapy. So I have formed a triangle of my treatment.
Yeah,
I want to work with aromatherapy, sound healing, and Reiki. I think that they make a great combination, the three of them together. And I think I can help bring more peace and healing into our world and love.
that's wonderful. Well, I'm super excited to be on this journey with you and to watch as things unfold. I know you're busy developing some new offerings that you'll be
Yes.
getting to the world here pretty soon. And hopefully, when we do that, or when you do that, we'll be able to have you back on the show and you can talk more about the details and how people can reach you. But in the
That would be
meantime,
great.
if you're okay with it, I'll put your email address in the description of this episode so that people can email you if they have questions or want to
Yes.
ask about any of your many adventures.
Yeah.
I know I
Yeah.
did a house blessing one time with you at a mutual friend Susan's house, and
Yes.
I mean, I was attacked by something that was under the porch, and
I
you could
remember.
see this, you could actually see claw marks on the back of my
Hmm.
neck. And
I remember.
I went to see another friend of ours, a medium named Heather, and
Hmm.
I had a reading with her about 3 days later, and she could see the marks still on the back of my neck. They were no longer visible to me, but
Hmm.
she could see the marks and described the creature that had made the
Yes.
marks. Really pretty wild stuff.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And I
But
remember we did a session together in the uh, Psychic 101. We did a
mhm.
meditation, or maybe it was mediumship. I remember seeing your wings for the first time. Do you remember that? I
Yeah,
just was fascinated. I was like, you're one of our earth angels, Donna. And I'm so grateful that you're still in my life as a good friend and that we stay in touch.
thank you. It's really been a blessing having you among my circle in my tribe. And I thank you for sharing yourself with my YouTube tribe here and my
Yes.
social media tribe as well. So,
Okay.
for anybody else who thinks that you might have an interest in something, go ahead, dive in. Right, Suzette? It's all, if nothing else, it's entertaining and fun.
It is.
um,
It's lots of
yeah,
fun.
we don't go in and develop every single thing we learn about, but it's just another tool in your
Mhm.
toolbox, so to speak, your self care toolbox. So, you
I think
can't
it
have too
helps
many
you cope with
things.
life.
I think so too.
Yes.
And it helps us to be at peace and to be the peace, right?
Yes. Yes. All right. Thank you,
Thank you
Donna.
so much. Oh,
All
I
right.
appreciate you coming. Thank you, Suzette. And I
Thank
will
you.
talk to you again soon.
All right.
Bye for now,
Bye.
y'all.